Okay, so today we're going to be talking about triangles. And we're going to be describing triangles. First, we're going to describe triangles by the number of sides and the number of sides that are equal lengths. We know that a triangle has 3 sides, but we're going to look at the different sides and how many have equal lengths. So first, let's take a look at this triangle. So we know 3 sides. This side and this side are equal, and then this side is equal. All 3 of these sides have the same measurement, the same length. So in this triangle, we have 3 sides that are all of equal length. Let's take a look at these 2 triangles right here. We have this side and this side that appear to be exactly the same length. But then when we look at this side, we can tell that that one is much longer. When we go to this one, this side and this side appear to be the same length, but this one seems much smaller. So in these 2 triangles, it appears that we have 2 sides that are of equal length, and then 1 side that is a different length. And then if we go to these last 2 triangles here, this seems like small. That's about average right there. And then we have a long side. So these 3 sides all appear to be different lengths. In this triangle, there are no sides that are of equal length. And if we go to this triangle, we have a short little side there, big long side here, and then kind of a medium side right here. These sides, all 3 different measurements. No equal sides on this one either. So if we look at these 2 triangles, none of them have the same length. So we have 3 different types of triangles. Let me get my line here. 3 different types of triangles. So which one has no sides of equal length? Well, that was the one on the end over here. None of those have equal sides with equal lengths. 2 sides with equal length. Well, that would be these guys right here. So we can have a triangle that has 2 sides with equal lengths. And then finally our 3 sides of equal length way down here. So we can have 3 different types of triangles. Triangles that have no sides of equal length, right here. Triangles that have 2 sides with equal length, right here. And then triangles that have all 3 sides that are of equal length, right over here, triangle A. So there's another way we can look at triangles and categorize them, and that would be by their angles. So let's take a look at these triangles. Go back to my arrow. These triangles here, we're going to be looking at their angles. So if we look at our first triangle right here, we have one angle that is much larger than a right angle. Okay, remember that right angle forms that square. We got one over here. Okay, forms a square. So if we look here, we have one angle that is much larger, one angle that is greater than a right angle, and then 2 angles that are less than a right angle. Then when we go to our second set, if we look at these angles, all 3 of these angles are less than a 90-degree angle. Okay, so these are all less than right angles. And if we look at this one, same thing. All 3 of these are less than a right angle. So we have 2 triangles where all of the angles are less than a right angle. And then if we go to these guys over here, excuse me, we have one right angle and 2 angles that are less than a right angle. Same thing here, we have one right angle and then 2 angles that are less than a right angle. So in these two triangles, they both have one right angle and two angles that are less than a right angle. So we had three different types of triangles, and we described them using their angles. So which one had one angle that is a right angle? Let me go to my lines. And one angle is a right angle. That would be these guys right down here on the end. One angle that is greater than a right angle. Greater than, larger than a right angle. And that was this guy down here. So we can have a triangle where there is one angle that is greater than a right angle. And then we can have a triangle that has three angles that are less than a right angle. So all three of those angles are less than a right angle. So this is another way we can describe triangles. They can have one angle that is greater than a right angle. It can have all three angles that are less than a right angle, or it can have one right angle. So those are another way that we can describe a triangle. Now I have a question for you. Well, it's not coming up. Hold on, it's because I have my pen there. Go back here. Do that last guy. Here's my question. Can a triangle have two right angles? Can a triangle have two right angles? Well, let's take a look. Okay, so if we have a right angle, let's make a right angle. Here's one line of our triangle. Here's the second line of our triangle. And we can see that that makes a right angle. Okay, now let's make another right angle. Let's do it on this side. Okay, so we have two right angles. Now, we know that a triangle can only have three lines. So we already have 1, 2, 3. Now we have an open space here. And the only way to close that space would be to put a line there. Now we no longer have a triangle. Now what do we have? We have a square. So, no matter what I do, if I have a right angle in my triangle, my right angle again, in order to put a third line in there, I have to connect the ends of that right angle. So there's no way that these two angles of the triangle can be another right angle. So we can only have one right angle in a triangle. Otherwise it becomes a square or a rectangle, because three lines with two right angles would make an open shape, wouldn't be a triangle. So get rid of that. Go back to our page. That question, that question about our triangles having two right angles, that can definitely not happen. We can only have one right angle in a triangle. Alright, so we described our triangles using the sides and how many equal sides there are, and we described them by their angles. So that's how we can describe a triangle. So let's take a look. First of all, let's take a look at this triangle. How many equal sides do we have? So how many sides in this triangle have equal length? Well, we can see this one right here looks the same as this one here. So those two are equal, and we know we can only have those two equal because this one's much shorter. So our answer would be, put my answer in right here. Our answer would be 2. Let me bring that 2 over there. Oops, just kidding. We'll get this technology stuff down. It'll take us a little while. There we go. 2 right there. There are 2 equal sides, one here and one here. This one is much shorter. So this triangle we can describe as having 2 equal sides. Now let's take a look at these 3 triangles. All right, so we want to look at the triangle that has 1 right angle. So which one of these triangles, we're going to describe by the angles, has 1 right angle? And it should have been, you should have guessed, F. F has that right angle. We'll put that right up here. Triangle F has 1 right angle. Now let's take a look at the next one. Which triangle has 1 angle that is greater than a right angle? Which one has an angle that is greater than a right angle? You should have guessed H. We look at H, let me drag my H up here. If we look at H, this angle right here, remember if we were to draw a line to make a right angle, if we were to draw a line right here to make a right angle, that little square right here, we can see that this angle goes much larger than a right angle. So H has the angle that is greater than a right angle. And then finally, our last one, G. G is the one that has 3 angles that are less than a right angle. 1, definitely less than a right angle, less than, and less than. So G has 3 angles that are less than a right angle. Okay. So we're going to complete some sentences using these 3 triangles. So let's take a look at our first sentence. Which triangle has 1 right angle? So let's take a look at them. These 3 triangles, we can see that M has 1 right angle. And how many equal sides, how many equal length sides does this triangle appear to have? So if we look here, this line and this line appear to be equal, but this one is much longer. So triangle M has 1 right angle and appears to have 2 sides of equal length. Let's see if we can complete the second sentence. Which triangle has 3 angles that are less than a right angle? So let's see. This triangle, that looks less than, this looks less than, and that is less than. Let's just take a look at this one. We have one that's greater than. So definitely K has 3 angles less than a right angle. So how many sides appear to be equal in K? Well, it looks like all 3 of our sides are equal in K. So triangle K has 3 angles less than a right angle and appears to have 3 equal sides. And let's take a look at our last sentence. Which triangle has 1 angle that is greater than a right angle? And we saw that that was L, this angle right here, much greater than a right angle. And it appears to have how many equal sides? Well, really long side, average size, and short. So it appears that 0 of these sides are of equal length. So triangle L has 1 angle greater than a right angle and appears to have 0 sides of equal length.